and welcome to another Squeaky Chimp tutorial. And today I'm going to be showing you how to make these paper bead snowflakes. And as you can see, they are really shiny and glossy and glittery and frosty looking. And I'm going to take you through step by step how to make the beads for them. So there are 16 beads in total. All the beads are made in exactly the same way, and I will run through the instructions and I will show you how I've made them. So what you're going to need is you're going to need one of these, which are Snowflake wire forms, and you can get them on my Etsy store, or you can search for them on the internet. I will leave a link below. You can make these yourself by wrapping wire to make them, but it does make it a lot easier if you actually buy them ready-made. It does save a bit of time and it does save a little bit of wrapping. I have also used these beads here, which are 6-0 seed beads. I'm not really a jewellery maker, so I have no idea really what kind of size that is, but they are turquoise green and they are about this size. So it's about half a centimetre. I don't know whether the size is based on the size of the bead or whether it's based on the size of the hole. I don't really make jewellery. I make beads, but I don't make jewellery as such. I'm not a huge jewellery maker, so you'll have to forgive me. You also need some round nose pliers because you're going to need to bend the ends of these wire frames, and you're going to need paper. You're going to need some cocktail sticks or something to hold your beads on, and a glaze, and I will show you my glaze in a minute. And you're going to need some white iridescent glitter, and this is not super chunky. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to pick up on it. It's not hugely chunky, but it's like a fine grained sand. It's not completely it feels quite soft actually. It doesn't feel grainy like some glitters do. If I have a look at this one, no, that one feels quite soft as well. So it's not a really coarse grain one, but when it's on your beads, let me just bring it up and show you, you can sort of pick up individual crystals which shine in the light. And you're going to need a bead roller, and for this I'm going to use a quilling tool because these wires are thin and these are exactly the right size. I'm going to use a quilling tool for this. And you're also going to need some paper strips. Now what I have here is a magazine. This is slightly thicker than normal magazine. It's a posher magazine paper, if you know what I mean, rather than a real cheapy magazine. And we are going to use 4 strips for each bead, and these have been cut into triangles. So they are just regular triangles, and that's what we're going to make our beads with. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how to make the first bead. All the beads are exactly the same. I'm just going to move some of these bits and pieces out the way, and we will get started. Okay, so it doesn't really matter which way round you have your paper. I decided when I made this, I decided that I wanted to still keep the idea that they were made out of paper. I didn't want to completely disguise them. I could have made them and painted them and then put the glitter over the top, and then people would probably be none the wiser that they were actually made out of paper beads. But I really wanted to kind of keep the integrity of the fact that they were paper beads. I didn't want to lose that, which is why I've kept the sort of colouring of the magazine still on there so that you can see it. And I've just used a very subtle glaze, which I'll talk about in a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 pieces of paper and I'm going to turn it over, and I think for this one I will probably use this side, which I did sort of slightly sort the pages out so they were all roughly the same kind of colours, and pop all of them to the ends like so. Make sure that they are lined up. You'll need to keep hold of them and keep them lined up. If you find that is quite tricky and you find that they do start to go all over the place, pop a peg some of the way down and that will just keep all of these bits where they are, and you can then roll. Now, the next thing, and I get asked this a lot, how do you roll beads when the paper bead roller isn't as long as the paper? And people always say, oh, you know, my paper bead roller isn't as long as the paper I want to do. Well, I never let that kind of limit me. So if I just show you, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see where the hole is. There. That's the length, and it's not even half the length of my paper. But I'm not going to worry too much about that. So I'm going to pop my paper into the hole, and we are using 3 sheets, so it is a bit tight. 4 sheets, in fact. And get it in. And then what I'm going to do, put it up to the end, is I'm going to start to roll. And you'll need to persuade this other side to come with it. And turn. And squash it a little bit. Making sure all your pages stay together. And turn. And just start turning. And miraculously, it just falls into place. And I haven't had to get a super long roller. I can still use this one here. And it works absolutely fine. So what I'm now doing, if I just hold this in place, I want to start with this to stay in this line. I don't want it to move up here. I don't want to create a bicone bead. And I want this side to start to move down. So as I roll it, I'm almost kind of rolling it slightly this way, keeping more pressure so that this stays in a line. It will make more sense as I start to roll. So you can see this side, you can just move it if you need to. See what I mean? So this is staying nice and flat, and this side is coming in. So again, I'm just going to keep rolling, making sure my pages or my strips stay where they are. Okay, so when I get to about 10 centimeters, 3 inches ish from the end, that's when I'm going to stop. And I'm going to get my glue, and I've normally got my little glue with me, but I don't have that today. I've left it downstairs. Just going to put some glue on, not too delicately. And what I'm now going to do is, rather than have this end follow the end, I'm going to start to bring it now, almost to now be making the bicone bead. So I'm now putting these strips in between here. So I'm ultimately going to end up with this point being in the middle. And that is what's going to create that rounded edge to this flat bottomed bead. So I'm now going in the middle. Like so. And what I like to do is, with this excess glue, I just like to use it to smooth out the rest of the bead. So I would just roll it on, fills in any gaps, seals the edges all down, and there we go. One curved bottom sort of cone shaped bead. Sorry about that, folks. It's wobbling. Here we go. I think the cat knocked it. Yes, the cat. Hello. Yeah, the cat knocked the camera stand. You okay? Meow. Okay. So what I'm going to show you now is how I've gone from this. Yep, that's the cat. What are you doing? Luz, what are you doing? That's the cat. I'm going to show you how to go from this plain bead to one of these sparkly beads. Here we go. Right, so I'm going to take this off, just slides out, and I'm going to pick up a cocktail stick, and I'm going to put the cocktail stick on the end so that I've got a base with which to work on. And what you're going to need is a paintbrush, and I'm going to have to sneak under and get my paintbrush. And I decided that I wanted my snowflake to have a bit of a turquoisey, frosty, I suppose frozen-y kind of colouring to it. And what I have here is a pot of glaze that I have made myself. And this is, if I just get hold of it, this is this stuff. Vallejo Gloss Acrylic Varnish. It's quite a thin varnish. It's one of my favourites. It does give a really nice coat. It dries super quick, and you could easily get 4, 5, even possibly even 6 coats of this done in an hour on beads if you're hand painting them. I've never tried it for dipping them because I never dip my beads. I always hand paint all of my beads. So this is that Vallejo Gloss varnish, and what I mixed it with, weirdly enough, was some turquoise ink. I've got an ink pen that's got some turquoise ink in it, and I just put a small amount in it. And if I just show you what it looks like on this white page, it's really subtle. It's not a paint. You see, it's really subtle. You can only just about see it. So it's just going to create a bit of a translucent colouring to it. So that's what we are going to glaze our bead with, and then we're going to then straight away roll it into some of the glitter. So I have got a sheet here. Here we go. And I sell on Etsy, eBay, Amazon, and I send all of my orders and I print the labels out, and this is what the labels come on. And what I do is I keep hold of these because I hate to throw things away. I hate waste, and it always seems like such a waste because actually these are quite good surfaces for putting glaze on, putting paint on, resting beads on because they're shiny. It's sort of non-stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to need these pliers for the moment, so I'm just going to put that down to rest it, and I'm going to get some of this glitter. Now I bought this glitter off of eBay, I think, but you can get it from glitterking.co.uk. I don't know where you get it from in other countries, so you'll have to have a little hunt. So I'm just going to make a little pile of it because I've only got a couple of beads to do. So there we go. Let me pick it up and show you it close to the camera without dropping it. Okay. I don't know if you can pick up the sort of iridescent, sparkly kind of. It certainly isn't hollow. That's what I'd say. It definitely isn't hollow. It's definitely more iridescent, but it's quite a subtle iridescent, and it's really pretty. I hope you can see it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our bead, excuse me, take our bead, take a paintbrush, a fairly wide thickish paintbrush, dip it in the glaze. Going to paint some of the glaze on, and again we're not looking to completely cover this because I still want you to be able to see the fact that they are paper beads underneath. I like that. That is what got me into paper beadings in the first place, was using up rubbish, stuff that would have ended up in the landfill. and turning them into something usable again. That is what sort of first got me into it. Yeah, I use printed paper, you know, I use pretty papers, but I love coming back to using up magazines. So now I've got my bead painted, and you can see we've just changed the colour of it really slightly, really subtly. What I'm then going to do is I'm just going to dip it into this glitter. Dip the end, tap it off, and there we go. One round-ended cone-shaped bead with a frosty coating. Okay, so what I will do is I will make more of them, and then I'll come back and I will show you how to put them together. Here we go. Okay, bear with me.